What I'm about to tell you is probably some of the most important information, the most crucial and important information you'll get in your life. And it's so important that you remember this and you live by it, because if you live by this information, then your life will be a success no matter what happens. The formula for spiritual success, and what I mean by spiritual success is after you leave this planet, what's going to be considered success? After you leave this planet, and remember this planet is meaningless, there's nothing here for you. It's just a game. When you leave here, you'll remember these words that I'm saying to you. And you'll see down at your life, and you'll see, thank God somebody told me that that wasn't real, because I've just realized it wasn't. And then you're going to think, shit, what have I done? Did I do enough? Was I successful in this life or not? And you're going to remember this lesson. Okay? The formula for spiritual success is based on the amount of positive force you apply against any resistance from a negative force. That amount is your spiritual success. I'll read it to you again. The formula for spiritual success is based on the amount of positive force you apply against any resistance from a negative force. That amount is your spiritual success. Now I'm going to give you two examples because it gets interesting from here. Two examples, both different. If there is a tremendous negative force against you and you apply a large amount of positive force, irrespective of the material outcome, to the degree that you've applied your force, that force is considered success by God's law. So you have a tremendous negative force against you and you apply a massive amount of positive force against it. Irrespective of the material success at the end of it, that amount of force is considered success by God. Irrespective of the material outcome. So this is a person who's struggling, who's got the world against them, and they fight for 30 years to make a business work, or to make a relationship work, or to get walking again. But to the world, it's a little slither of success. No one even notices them. To God, it's huge, because they fought for 30 years. Now, if there is no real negative force against you, and you apply very little or no positive spiritual effort or force against it, because everything is well, then your success is meager. Even if you appear humongously successful materially, still you have failed, as you have applied meager positive force to your life. This could be loosely described as spiritual complacency, and it's considered very little success in God's eyes. This is somebody who has everything, and because everything is there, they don't need to try to learn anything else. They have their house, they have their partner, they have their wife. What do they need to look at spiritual things or understand life for? Just enjoy. So they're enjoying the rewards of their karma, and that's it. I must have done good in my last life. I have everything. I'll just sit and enjoy my life. So God's like, you came into life very well because you've done good things, so you had great things, and then you've done nothing. In this lifetime, you achieved this much. You didn't do anything. And the guy who works for you, your slave, your servant, your worker, who comes in for 30 years and works 12 hours a day to feed his family, is going to go into heaven, and you're going to wait outside cleaning his boots. So how did that happen? Everything got reversed. Because the guy who was serving the Lord, the King, was working every day, humbly, and going through difficulty, going through poverty, going through health problems, and still working. And the King just sat there enjoying the rewards of his karma. He achieved nothing in that life. Though the world lauded after the King and thought he was successful, there wasn't. The servant was successful. It is this sum total amount of spiritual positive effort that is weighed in as gold in heaven. and will be your spiritual development in your final evaluation. So don't get stuck on human material success, finally, but be present. Work very hard and do the right thing as passionately as you can understand. Verify with wise ones, meditate, learn from people, and manage yourself well. It is that effort that is correct spiritually and right morally that will make you win, irrespective of what the world, your senses, and what people say. This is God's law. This is how He works. This is what He's telling you. This is telling you what to focus on, is that. And then when you walk away, when you finish your life and you sit in your soul and you can say to yourself, I tried every single day. I know I've left nothing. No stone is unturned. No blood is left unworked towards. No sweat is left in my body. I've done everything. And then God will greet you. And as long as it's those things, right morally, this way, worked hard, listen to others, all the right things, you've done it right, then regardless of material outcome, then you will get into a greater place than sitting there and have not tried or have just enjoyed what your rewards were last time. Life is like weight training. You only get stronger with resistance. If there's no resistance, nothing to lift, you're not going to get strong muscle. If you have a heavy weight, it's resistance, and you're going to get strong when you lift. And if you can use strong muscles, go and find a bigger weight and lift a bigger weight. If you're born with big muscles, go get bigger muscles. If you're born weak and the little one, keep fighting that small dumbbell until you get stronger. That's what I'm talking about. Surrendering to a negative force is not right. But resisting a negative force, even if you're not pushing against it, is okay. So for a while you might, to the negative force, you might say, I'm going to hold my lines. Or, I'm not going to answer. Which is similar to holding your lines. You know, if someone is pushing you, you can say, no, I'm not going to speak. That's holding your lines. Fighting is saying, no, this is correct. But you can hold your line sometimes, yeah? So sometimes you can hold your line, but you should never kick back. You should never withdraw on a negative force. Hold your lines. Yeah, it's what they say in the army as well. Hold your ground. If you're not going to go forward, hold your position. Resist. Defend yourself, but don't attack. So you can do some of that. But I think the key thing I'm trying to talk to you guys is this chunk of positive energy is so important. Make hay while the sun shines. So when days are good, you make your hay. Yeah, this is why I always say, and what Yogananda always says, is meditate every day. My mum always used to say the same thing. Meditate every day, not just good days. And I've always taught a Chikri, meditate most when you feel not like meditating. That's the day you meditate. When you're not in the mood. Meditation's got nothing to do with moods. God is not interested in moods. You sit with God out of your duty and your love for Him, not from what your mood is like. If you do that kind of stuff, you're building up that spiritual positive force I'm talking about. That's going to build what your rewards are. Though you don't do it for rewards, you do it because it's a right. But it's that is what makes you a yogi. That's what makes you a yogi, is that kind of attitude. And then you give it all back to God. So that's a spiritual success. So you're going to meet people in your lives who will, these people, they're crazy. They base their happiness on what their work is going like, or what their success is, or their income, or the house size that they've got. And they've got cars, and other people are doing better, though they're more educated, and they should be, and they get themselves trapped into this. But all that matters is how you are as a person, how you're responding in your personal consciousness, in your life, in your being. That's what God is watching. He's not watching anything else. So you be good, and the world doesn't need to know how successful you are. Only He needs to know. Most of the people that get into heaven, you don't know. And you'll never know them. Right? It's not the stars that do it, it's the people you'll probably never ever hear of. It's the opposite of how our world is working. I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive, but they don't always appear to be as the stars and the big shots in the world. They could be quiet people. And then on top of that, if you're a great teacher, fantastic, you do a good job. But if all you are is a great person, that's all Chikri could ever ask for, because it's going to help you.